You know, it's funny, only a couple of days after the events at VidCon do we start seeing the social justice side begin to show their true colours as usual. I mean, let's ignore the fact that Anita showed her true colours by harassing Sargon, but just look at this guy and a few other stories here that really just vindicate the anti-SJWs and hashtag Gamergate. You know, the thing that we tried to say over and over again, that we're not the harassers, they're the harassers, they're the degenerates, they're the ones who are going out doing horrible, disgusting things, you know, that kind of thing. But hey, let's start with this particular story now. There's a few from One Angry Gamer because there's some things I need to say. Now, it turns out that a former neogaf moderator known as Christopher John Goldberg, 32, has been arrested for child porn. Apparently, he had 53 pornographic images of small children between the ages of 12 to 14 years of age on his mobile phone, and additional images and video were found on his computer. And the relevance obviously is, as the article states, the guy was and is a notorious anti-gamergate, anti-SJW, I guess you could say, person. He was one of the people who were the most vocal members of neogaf. And look, do you remember, if anyone remembers the hashtag Stop Gamergate, he was one of those people who would use that hashtag. He even tried to get Jimmy Wales to help stop Gamergate, because Jimmy Wales was notoriously anti-Gamergate and an SJW himself. He would label anybody and belittle anybody who was a critic of people like Brianna Wu or were pro-Gamergate, and essentially call us harassers, racists and sexists, which is ironic because this guy is a paedophile and he's calling us sexist. Well, isn't that funny? And he just, look, you see, he will belittle them, he will attack them just for criticism. And they're already trying to say, oh look, we didn't do anything wrong, like, we condemn this, says Tyler Malkus, the owner of NeoGAF, but of course he leaves out of the statement, lying by omission, that he was personally aware of Amirox's real name. That's the guy's label, his handle, and he actually helped some kind of charity drive with him. He donated $1,000 to his GoFundMe. So he's another person who has essentially joined a long list of people, including Matt Hickey, a male feminist who used to actually write for Forbes. He was arrested for multiple counts of rape. Devin Farassi, who had to resign over multiple claims of sexual assault. There's a whole weird thing about that, whether he did or didn't. Like, he didn't even remember anything, yet he was saying, I believe you were clearly a victim of some kind of crime that may or may not have happened. And then we've got Sun Patel, who lost book deals over misconduct with peers. I assume that's sexual harassment in the workplace, or just having relationships that he ought not to have. I don't know what that means by misconduct with peers. And then we had Jamie Kilstein, who was an anti-Gamergate critic, all of them, who was the Citizen Radio co-host, who had to resign following claims of sexual misconduct. And then, in a more high-profile case, we've had Juan Thompson, who was arrested by the FBI for cyberstalking, harassing, and sending death threats to an ex-girlfriend. And yet, he was a type of person who would accuse Gamergate and anti-feminists, anti-SJWs, whatever you want to call us, for doing the exact same thing. It seems like every time that we get called this, there's loads of other examples that keep coming up over and over again, showing that it's just projection. It's pure projection. And speaking of the FBI, they recently, I know it was last year, but they've made it much more accessible to the public of the FBI's Gamergate case, and they determined that Gamergate did nothing. In fact, all the harassment and stuff that we were accused of, which happened to both sides, was done by trolls. Third-party trolls looking to get a reaction out of people. But also, funnily enough, some of it was happening because of social justice warriors who are just projecting disgusting human beings who want to pretend to be moral, uptight people when they're not. And then, of course, in other news, Zoe Quinn has decided to project as well. Now, Nick Monroe, who apparently is doing really well recently for a freelance journalist on his own, just doing all this stuff, like he's just been finding loads of crap. Zoe Quinn shared some Randy Pitchford fanfiction that depicted his death, which Randy found out via his son. And here's the original thing. Notch was apparently involved. And he said, "Femfreak, I thought you were okay after our brief talk at my house. You seemed sane and level-headed. Unfortunately, you have turned more evil." And then Randy Pitchford states, "She posted a fiction story about murdering me. My child read it. That's how I found out about it. In person later. She did not apologise." So basically, Anita Sarkeesian has been posting stuff about Randy fucking Pitchford. Now look, Randy Pitchford. A lot of people don't like him in the gaming industry for various reasons. But I don't know if he deserves this by feminist frequency. Why is Anita doing that? She posted that clearly to either troll him or to mess with him, or I don't know. But it's kind of funny that she would get outraged over games being made where you can punch her in the face, and yet she's posting this bullshit. And look, there you can see there's the post where she links this thing on the Tumblr. Spider-Man recruits and Anita Sarkeesian to help stop Randy Pitchford and the Green Goblin from resurrecting Duke Nukem. Obviously, because Duke Nukem is problematic. It is haram. It's the type of game that would objectify and demonise women, and of course, with the curiosity argument, basically what would happen is, by doing this, by giving us representations of fit, sexy women who are like models that Duke Nukem will fuck and go, "Yeah, I love women," basically is getting us along the road to femicide, essentially. That's the goal. That's the goal here, apparently, for male game developers and males in general. I mean, look here, like, Anita starts shooting Andy Pitchford. She shot him once, twice, 3 times, the sound of the shots echoing in the grand hall. "Holy shit," said Anthony Birch. "Anita, why?" "I said I wanted to change," said Randy. He clutched his open wounds, blood was dripping in gouts from his gold gun thrown. "That's for aliens, colonial marines." He sighed one last time and died. And then she said, "Let's make a game with Gearbox." It's stupid, but it's kind of funny that she's posting this quite obvious, what do they call it? A power fantasy. This is clearly a power fantasy where she wants to kill game developers that she doesn't like. But I'm pretty sure Randy Pitchford is like an SJW. Like, didn't he hate Gamergate and was making like shitty music? It could have been anybody, but I think it was Randy Pitchford. He's really an idiot, but he doesn't deserve this. And then here comes Zoe Quinn to White Knight. And then she says, "You both will lose your fucking minds if you had to be either of us for 5 minutes. Grow up." Oh, he will lose his mind for getting harassment that he gets on a regular basis from angry gamers who he pisses off. Yeah. As if he would lose his mind. Sure, keep projecting. "But really this," says Randy, "I feel the online hate I've endured is worse than the online hate you have endured, so don't fight back." That's exactly what she's saying. "Mine is worse than yours. Oh, you don't know what it's like. You're a man and I'm a woman." But hey, you know, it gets even better. "What part of piling on with Notch is fighting back? Taking another swing at someone under constant attack?" Yeah, sure she is. "Isn't standing up for anything." "But really," says Randy, "I feel the online hate which I've enjoyed is worse than the..." Okay, he's just repeating himself again, making sure that everybody gets the point that Zoe is just saying ours is worse than yours because reasons. And why are they repeating themselves? As Nick made a mistake here, I don't know. But hey, let's get back on track here with the next bit. "Randy, you're literally piling on in the thread calling her evil, because she is evil." "I am sure," says Randy, "she is as complex as the rest of us, but her posting that story of her murdering me was not the opposite of evil." "The story," says Zoe, "no one could have possibly been taken seriously that you had you monologuing on top of a gun throne. Dude, I don't think you get evil. This is what I mean. It's a tongue-in-cheek fanfic someone else wrote, and you were acting like it's even in the same arena as the hate we get. Even the fact that it was one thing, or that it wasn't there to threaten or hurt you, or even make you look like a monster. This sounds like a victim fight. I am out." "So sorry about your trouble," says Randy. "You're the only one acting like a victim here, dude." Oh my god. The projection is strong, people. Because Zoe Quinn would be the first to go to her Patreon asking for shekels when somebody releases a fanfiction like this about her, and would be the first to say, "Help me, I'm a victim, these people are harassing me, am I making horrible, joking, like, fanfic on me?" But whenever it's a man who gets this, or someone she doesn't like, you're playing the victim. Stop that. It's nothing. Just get over yourself. What is it with these people? It's like, unless it happens to them, like it's the worst thing in the world. But if it happens to somebody else they don't like, or just anybody in general, nothing. It's not that bad at all. Hypocrisy, people. I guess the whole point of this video is hypocrisy, showing the hypocrisy, showing the degeneracy of these people. And anyway, I guess that's the end of the video. I will see you later.